89.3 FM Toledo and Lima, 88.5 FM Wasia, on the web at yeshome.com, on the SFM Android and iTunes app, and the TuneIn Radio app. And now at 89.1 FM Fremont.
Spiritual Festival coming to Kings Island June the 23rd through the 25th. One of the bands that's going to be performing is Red, and on the phone line we have Randy from Red. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. How about you?
Awesome, doing well.
Great. Now, are you guys on the road today, or are you at home, or where are you at?
We're getting ready to head out. Yeah, we're going to be in Atlanta tomorrow with Toby at Atlanta Fest. So we got a rehearsal this afternoon, and then we hit the bus tonight.
Oh, fantastic! Now, have you guys performed with Toby before?
Many times. We've done Winter Jam together, multiple festivals. So yeah, we've been probably over 50 times.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's fun to perform with. So
yeah.
So Spiritual Festival, you guys are no stranger to that venue as well. So how many times does this make for you? Do you know off the top of your head?
I would say in the range of 5 or 6 at least.
Wow.
Yeah. In 10 years, I'd say 5 or 6 is a pretty good guess.
That is quite a bit. That's like half of your 10 years. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. And speaking of 10 years, you guys have just put out the 10th anniversary edition of your album, End of Silence. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We are pretty excited about it to celebrate that with fans.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's when we first heard of you guys, or first coming on the scene, at least with Yes FM, is back in 2006. But, kind of take us back a little bit. How long have you guys been a band, and, how did you all meet?
A lot of people don't know. Michael Anthony and I went to grade school together. We met when Michael moved into our hometown in 3rd grade, and we've been friends ever since. And we all did, concert band together, marching band, and we played sports together. We were pretty inseparable all the way through high school, and then we parted ways temporarily for college. But in the summertime, we got together and wrote songs and tried to perform if we could. And after we graduated, we decided to move to Nashville and say, well, we gave it a shot. So when we turned around at 40, we wouldn't have any regrets. So we moved here and got plugged in. I guess 3 years is pretty quick in the grand scheme of things, but we started recording End of Silence. It took about 2 years for us to develop the sound and get the songs, and then we hit the road after that. And it was kind of a gamble because we didn't have a fan base, so we just hit the road and hoped for the best, and it took off tremendously, and better than we could have even imagined. So it's cool to get 10 years, and bands don't usually last that long these days, and to have made it this far and be able to celebrate with fans is pretty special.
Once again, we're talking to Randy of the group Red, and they're going to be at Spiritual Festival this year, also celebrating 10 years of being an official band, if you will, and with the End of Silence. And we understand that you guys have a couple of new tracks on the album, so tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, the tracks were in the vault from 10 years ago, and we were like, well, let's find some material that we were working on 10 years ago and put it on, as part of this edition, and we came up with these tracks, and we were like, let's finish these tracks. And so we had the entire track to If I Break finished, and we just didn't have lyrics to it. So we wrote lyrics and re-recorded some guitars and tracked the vocals and everything, and If I Break turned out pretty well. And then Circles was an example of many of the musical tidbits we have in our vault that, it's 7 minutes long, but what we would do is we would pull parts out of those tracks and, say the outro of Circles is actually the beginning riff to the song Out From Under. So there's a lot of, if you're to the Red fan that really digs in and knows the music well, they'll hear, parts from, songs on End of Silence, songs on Innocence and Instinct, song on Until We Have Faces. But that's kind of how we write. We write many, many ideas. We try and put them together as these story ballads, and we pull from them. We want to hear what they sound like together, and then we piece them all together into a song.
And it's one of the things we've noticed about you guys is like, there's the story ballads obviously on this edition, but then there's continuity even between songs and albums too. I mean, and it's abundantly clear in some of your videos and everything like that. I mean, do you guys like intentionally, like, in the grand scheme of things, like intentionally, let's go this direction, or does it just kind of happen, or give us a little insight on that?
Yeah, we do actually. We do try to make reference to other songs in other songs, and reference to other records and other records, and it's intentional. We want we're trying to tell a story, through music and through these videos and everything. But Red is more of a brand or a culture or a lifestyle, as you would say. To the hardcore Red listener, I guess it's just a way of a connection between us and fans. People sometimes have a hard time making that connection because they think we're superhuman or whatever. So we've tried to make as many opportunities as possible to meet fans and let them know, like, hey, we're humans too. We get puked on by our kids, and we do everything everybody else does and stuff, and let them know that we're a lot more approachable than we look like when we're on stage. So the music and the stories and stuff that we tell, the videos we shoot and everything, we try to include our fans in all of those things, by inviting them out to the shoots or putting them in the video. For example, with Feed the Machine, we had 85 extras that were all Red fans that showed up and made their own way to Alabama to shoot that video with us. So, we're telling a story, and everybody's it's kind of like a series of stories. And once you start reading, you want to read the whole thing until the epic finale, when we don't know when the finale is going to be, though.
Exactly. Well, and then the one video where it kind of, without ruining it for maybe somebody who hasn't seen it, comes back full circle. That was, dude, that was brilliant. That was just like totally brilliant. Everybody's like watching, was like, whoa. So
yeah, it was fun to see the reactions, and people that haven't seen it yet should check it out. But it was a lot of fun. When we were doing that, we almost kind of surprised ourselves. It's like, we could do this, and some jaws hit the floor, and we're like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, because we were trying to decide whether we were going to continue the story or not, because people are expecting a fourth video, and we're like, well, how are we going to keep this going? Or we could always turn it on its ear and give them something they don't expect, and that will help us to let it, to keep it going. So, now we're kind of in a hole right now because fans are expecting us to do these 6, 7, 8 minute long videos. They're like movies, and people are asking us to actually do a movie and things like that. So we've talked to our label people about possibly doing something of that nature. The Christian film industry is pretty big right now, doing really well, and I think there's definitely a place for some sort of sci-fi action film that has a spiritual base to it, and what better way than to write one and maybe get somebody to direct it and do it that way. So there's plans on the horizon, and we're talking about doing different things and stepping outside the box, and not just the music, but really creating a brand. When people think of Red, they don't just think of music, they think of a story, they think of books, comics, they think of movies, things like that.
Once again, we are talking to Randy of Red. I can tell you what, if you did something with sci-fi, I personally would be on board. I'd be all over that. And hey, some of your tour mates, the Small Bone Boys, Joel and Luke, they could hook you up. I mean, Joel's in Priceless, so just putting that out there.
Yeah, they just did a movie too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so our label is on board with Provident Films is a pretty big deal right now, and there's some of the guys that own these festivals and stuff that we tour around are the ones that are doing these movies. And the Irwin brothers, who have done a few of them, one most recently was Woodlawn, they actually shot the video for Feed the Machine and for Deafening for us. And Feed the Machine was the actual last music video that they shot. So, it's all kind of tied together a little bit, and, the industry is really small when you think about it. And, so there's just no telling what can happen.
Sounds very interesting, very intriguing. Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Once again, we're talking to Randy of Red. And speaking of coming up with things, you had mentioned that you guys are going to possibly start working on some new music.
Yeah, we've got a deadline to turn in some music this year, and it's always probably a year and a half, 2 years before we start doing so after we release a record, and the Beauty and Rage came out February last year. So, we are already in the middle of writing tracks for record number 6, and we'll probably go into the studio late summer, early fall to get the tracks laid down. So it's a busy year for us. On top of the 15 festivals we're doing, we're going to Europe in August, and then we have the 10th anniversary tour coming this fall with our buddies in Disciple and Spoken, and that's going to hopefully go coast to coast. It's going to be a cool celebration with fans, and but in the midst, we'll be on the bus, writing songs, and we never quit. We always have to move on to the next thing months in advance, and fans, all they see is the final product, so they don't realize that there's all this other work going on in the midst of a tour, or, we're at home, we're not really off from work, we're still working.
Once again, talking to Randy of Red, and you talked about Beauty and Rage. One of the songs that we're playing currently is called Take Me Over. So before we let you go, can you set up that song for us? Let us know what that's about.
Yeah, Take Me Over is just about asking God to come in and take things over, period. It's, we try to control things too much on our own, and I think when we try to, make things happen that we, really have no control over, or we try to force it, it just goes all wrong. And that's just a song about, believing that, your life can be changed. You're believing that something can change. All you have to do is ask.
Well said, sir. Thank you so much, and we wish you guys well on all those festivals in Europe and the new music and anything else that comes your way. So just excited to hang out with you guys at Spirit Song and beyond.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you guys at Spirit Song. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. Thanks so much, Randy. We appreciate you taking the time out today and letting us know what's been going on with you guys.
Same to you. Thanks.
Yes, FM.